Hello everyone. I'm doing this video because on my Twitter account for the Chronicles of Crimson Hound show, and the Twitter, by the way, is Chronicles Hound together. I for a while now I've been just having fun posting like um, polls where people can vote who would win between this character and this other character, and within those I also have fun pitting different versions of the character against each other. So I just thought I'd make a video commenting on those because I thought it was a lot of fun. I had some exchanges with people, and I'm even gonna read the comments because there's not too many, so I can kind of like do that. And if this eventually blows up, maybe I won't be able to read all the comments anymore. But for now, I can. So let's see. On September 27th, I asked Adam West Batman versus Ben Affleck Batman, who wins? No comments on that one. 3 votes. 100% of the votes went to the DCEU Batman. No one voted for 60s Batman. Mm. I don't know who, to be honest, I don't know who wins this one. Because, true, the Ben Affleck Batman beat up Superman using kryptonite, but at the same time, Adam West Batman in his movie went up against Catwoman, the Joker, Penguin, and the Riddler all at the same time. That's like 4 villains at the same time. That said, he did have Robin's help, so I guess you could divide it by two, um, which is about the same amount of villains that Keaton faced at the same time by himself in Batman Returns. So yeah, I mean, Ben Affleck's Batman does have the better armor, which is why I would give it to him. But it's like barely, like that's because Ben Affleck's Batman has better armor. That's why I'm giving to him. But as far as everything else goes in the fiction and all that, they seem to be like evenly matched. Yeah. Now keep in mind, I'm not talking about how the characters look to real life eyes, but what the fiction tells us about the characters. Like the Adam West Batman, Adam West the actor was not at the peak of physical condition, but within the fiction of the Batman show and the 60s movie, 66 movie, he was. So we have to take that as a fact. Okay, so I just want to clarify also how I rule these things. I don't go with what the actors look like or the actual actor's fighting ability. Um, I just go with what the fiction tells us, what's true within the fiction of the story. And to me, 60s Batman and Ben Affleck Batman or DCU Batman are very evenly matched. But, let's go. I'll agree to those votes because of the armor. No comments were left, so I don't know why people voted that way, but for me, I would vote because of the armor only. Now, let's see. If I go find the following ones. On November 10th, I asked who would win in a fight, Connor McLeod at the end of Highlander 3 or Connor McLeod from Highlander Endgame before dying. There was a single vote, and the person voted for Highlander 3 Connor. Now, I'm going to do a caveat for this one. Highlander 3, it's a bit messy, the continuity, because it's supposed to ignore Highlander 2, okay? But it does follow up Highlander 1, supposedly, except in the end of Highlander 1, he says, oh, I'm mortal now. But in Highlander 3, he wasn't because he survived a car crash where Brenda, his wife, died. But he, being immortal, didn't survived. So I don't know if Highlander 3 ignores because every story of Highlander that came after the first movie ignores some aspects of the first movie. So I don't know if in this version you win the prize and you stay mortal, or he thought he was mortal and turns out I won the prize, I'm mortal now. Then he realizes he's not. I don't know. They never clarified any of that. So I'm assuming when I say the Connor MacLeod, the End of Highlander 3, with the powers of illusion that he gained from killing Kane, I'm imagining he's still immortal. I'm imagining he's not mortal. And if he is mortal, can he still keep the powers of illusion? That's unclear as well. I don't know. Like, not a lot was clarified in that movie. But, and it seems like the voter took it that way too, that he wins a prize, but he's still immortal and has the powers of illusion now. However, I'm kind of conflicted on this one. I don't know which way to go because Highlander 3 Connor has the powers of illusion, which is a big deal. However, the Highlander Connor from Highlander Endgame has a lot more quickenings. I'm saying that because Highlander 3 only takes Highlander 1 into account. It ignores the TV series. In Highlander 1, there's a lot less immortals out there than the version from the TV series. I'm saying that because, in the TV show, immortals kept popping up, whereas in the first movie, by 1986, they're almost all gone. There's no more that are still popping up, or if they are, they're quickly dispensed with, I guess. But to me, and it sounded like it was such a rare occurrence that, for example, Connor being an immortal and showing up was enough for the Kurgan to show up and Ramirez to show up. So like immortals from other countries go to Scotland because a new immortal showed up. It felt like it was a more rare thing, and like all immortals seemed to know each other by name in the first one. They were that rare, whereas in the TV show, there's a lot of them. So now, Highlander Endgame follows the continuity of the TV show. That means that Connor has a shitload more quickenings than Highlander 3 Connor. Highlander 3 Connor follows mostly the continuity of the first movie, and then you add like three more immortals. So it's a lot less quickenings. So I'm not sure what to make of it. 103 Connor has a power of illusion and is not super depressed and wanting to die like Endgame Connor. So Endgame Connor has a lot more quickenings, but he also is not in it anymore. He doesn't have the will to fight at all, which is why I can't enjoy Endgame. By the way, well, I mean there's other reasons, but Highlander Endgame it feels a lot like Star Wars: The Last Jedi to me. You know what they do with Connor, what they do with Luke Skywalker. I'll make a video about that eventually, but I'm not sure what to make of it because to me, like Hunter Endgame, Connor has so many quickenings, but he doesn't have the will to fight, and he doesn't have the power of illusion. So I might give it to Hunter 3 Connor, like just because he's gonna be in it, he's gonna want to win, and he's gonna have the illusions going for him. So even though he might be less powerful on a pure physical level than Hunter Endgame Connor, I think he wins just by virtue of actually wanting to survive. Anyway, um, yeah. Now the next one was who would win in a fight? Oh, no comments for the Connor versus Connor one, by the way. Now the next one, November 10th, the same day. Who would win in a fight? Expanded Universe Jedi Master Luke Skywalker or Disney Jedi Master Luke Skywalker? 11 votes. Most people voted for Expanded Universe Luke Skywalker, 90.9% of the votes, and Disney Luke Skywalker, 9.1% of votes, which, if I'm not too tired to calculate right now, means a single person voted for Disney Luke Skywalker. Now, I'm going to say this. There's no right or wrong answer regarding which Luke Skywalker you prefer, if any at all. If you prefer Disney Luke Skywalker, that's perfectly fine. If you like what was done with him in Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, that's perfectly valid as an opinion to have. That said, I don't know in which world one thinks that Disney Luke Skywalker would beat Expanded Universe Luke Skywalker. That to me is someone who's like a Disney Star Wars fan for life and has never read Expanded Universe stuff. Um, this one I kind of threw out of more curiosity to see. Again, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I mean, I have my personal opinion. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but so I want to be clear on that. I'm not even going to touch upon which version I prefer. I'm just saying on a purely who would win in a fight, Expanded Universe wins by far because Expanded Universe Luke Skywalker didn't spend years cut off from the Force, moping in an island. He actually, even by the let's see, even by the last true Luke's Expanded Universe Luke Skywalker story Crucible, after all the bad stuff that happened to him in the Expanded Universe and previous stories, he's still in it. He's still leading the Jedi. He's still wanting to. In fact, it said that he can't wait to go on a mission because he can just stay there not doing anything, which is very much unlike Disney Luke Skywalker. And I'm not gonna call him Legends Luke, by the way. It's Expanded Universe. I resent the Legends thing. Okay, I guess you're guessing which one I prefer, so I should just. But whatever. Um, I'll do a video about the Expanded Universe Star Wars and what Disney decided to do with it, but that's for another day. But objectively, no matter which one you prefer, um, I cannot comprehend anyone voting for Disney Luke Skywalker. He spent years not training, disconnected from the Force, moping on an island. So again, you have the will to fight going in there, and you have like who actually did the most and practiced in the Force and never gave up and stayed more active. That's going to be expanded universe Luke Skywalker. So I agree with most of the voters. No comments on that one. Oh, let's see. This one has comments. It's going to be fun. November 11th. So again, I was in sort of like a Highlander mindset. Connor McLeod from the original Highlander movie, so I'm specifying the version of the first movie, versus Blade, the Wesley Snipes version. Both are aware of each other's powers and vulnerabilities. Who wins a sword fight? This one was, again, one-sided, but a bit less than the other ones. 16 votes. The Highlander won by 62.5%, and the Daywalker lost at 37.5%. I'm going to read the comments on this one. So, someone said, realistically, the Highlander, just because he has had so many years to get good. But Blade fights vampires and isn't above using dirty tricks to win. Fair enough. Yeah, I would agree with that. That Blade uses a lot more weapons, fights dirty. Connor McLeod sticks to using a sword on one-on-one fights. So that's a good point. But that person still said Connor McLeod. Then someone else said Blade easily if he knows Connor's weakness. The easily, I can see arguments for both, but I was like, easily? Yeah. So I replied, I'm uncertain myself. Blade has the physical advantage overall, but Connor has centuries of experience behind him, which has to count for something. Someone else said, remember, film immortals are above humans physically. So someone brought that up, and I replied, the Kurgan seems to be incredibly strong, smashing walls with his sword, easily lifting the veteran up after stabbing him, but it never confirms if he's supernaturally strong, and if we stick to the original movie, I don't remember Connor himself being stronger than normal. Then that person who told me that they were stronger than normal said, I'm just going by the deer scene and the fact that he kept up with the Kurgan's strength. That was a really good point. And someone else chimed in and said, it's strongly implied immortals absorb the strength of those they defeat. It's just showcased very inconsistently. And I replied at the end of that thread, yes, at the very least, later material and different continuities confirm it. Regarding the comment about the deer, yeah, I just all good points. Yeah, also. So that's true. And actually, in the first movie, if you pay attention, it's subtle. But if you pay attention, like Connor is like running as fast as a deer, and the fact that Ramirez and Connor are able to keep up with the Kurgan, and you see Kurgan like smash a wall with his sword, and so yeah, actually, the one advantage I was giving Blade was that I thought he'd be stronger and faster. I still think he might be, but now that advantage is not as big as I thought it was. I was imagining Connor McLeod with a normal human strength, but I kind of have to realize, yeah, maybe not. But just because we see Blade leap so high or stuff like that, then again, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Highlander, now that that gap has been, so I agree with most people. Now the gap has been like closed a bit, and Immortals are stronger. Yeah, this one was again very Highlander centric. I said the Predator, as seen in the original movie, hunts down the Kurgan from Highlander. Who wins? This is interesting. So the Predator one, 66, 39 votes in total. So that was my most popular one. Predator has 66.7%, and the Kurgan has 33.3%. Very one-sided. Someone said, I mean, let's be honest, the Kurgan was defeated by Christopher Lambert, a man who, in one scene, weirdly attacked Kurgi with, I want to say, a hose. That said, the Kurgan might be one of my favorite Clancy Brown roles, and that's definitely saying something because Clancy rules. Um, so it just like the comment, but again, like I mentioned about 60s Batman, the fact that Christopher Lambert is not like a real swords master, a real fighter, does not play anything in my assessment of the fictional character and what the fiction says about him. What the fiction says about him, he's a great warrior and a great swordsman. Someone else said it really depends whether he takes the skull trophy or not. So that good point, because predators behead their adversaries. I said, but he normally does that once the prey is dead, and the Kurgan isn't one of those immortals who takes a long nap when killed by normal means, as seen when the veteran shoots him down and the Kurgan gets up right away. That said, the predator does have that throwing disc. The person didn't reply to that, so the conversation didn't continue. But yeah, the skull trophy could work on like immortals like Duncan MacLeod or even Connor MacLeod, as seen in Highlander 3, where when they get killed by normal means, they do die for a moment. Then the Predator would have time to rip off their skulls. But the Kurgan in Highlander 1, like the veteran, shoots him down and he gets up right away. So unless the Predator has the throwing disc that he throws and decapitates people. But right now, I don't remember if he had that in the first movie or if that's from Predator 2 going onward. Because my own rule was from the original movie. Although that blaster he has on his shoulder, Predator, can probably blow a head off. Maybe it does. I don't remember right now. Uh, okay, so here's something else. Someone said that may be the most difficult question to answer. Then there's a tweet that was deleted by the author, and it's actually someone who said that I remember the comment overall. It's someone who said they couldn't because the Kurgan was defeated by Christopher Lambert, you know, and then they said if it was the Adrian Paul Highlander, then they might vote differently. Who had defeated the Kurgan? I mean, anyway, as if to say Adrian Paul is a better swordsman than Christopher Lambert. My reply was, I understand your argument. Personally, I stick to the established fiction and not the real life skills of the actors. For example, we all know Adrian Paul is an actual swords expert, while Lambert isn't, but in the fiction, Connor was a superior swordsman to Duncan, at the very least up to the Renaissance era as seen in Endgame, the Endgame movie. So again, this is when I do these verses, things. Of course, people are going to vote the way they want, but me, the way I always approach it is never about the actors. It's the fiction. So, I'm going to give an example. Does the Ben Affleck Batman beat up the heavyweight world champion of UFC, Francis Ngannou? Yeah, for sure. Does Ben Affleck beat up Francis Ngannou? No. So, to me, understand that it is a big part of my enjoyment when an actor can convincingly portray being a badass. But in regards to my votes regarding fictional characters, the portrayal of the actors is not what's going to influence my vote. Unless it's for a tiebreaker. Maybe. I don't know if I would, but I can concede maybe for a tiebreaker, but otherwise, no. That's how I approach it. Because, yeah. Yeah. um, anyway, so that was it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please give comments on all the matches I mentioned, who you think would have won, why, all of that. Or if you have comments on how I approach these things, or any other sort of comment, I'll interact with you for sure. Thanks for watching.